So how did you break the hearts of 20 women?
I'm about to get to that. We out here breaking hearts. I'm not proud of it. It's inevitable.
Oh, wow.
What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
Wow, my voice just, ooh.
That was rough.
I'm Paul.
Goodness, they're so loud.
Tell them to subscribe, baby.
Well, I will if you stop cracking.
Any day now.
if you're new here, make sure you subscribe.
You alright?
I'm sorry. We make videos about.
Spit it out, babe. Just spit it out, babe. Come on.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. We risk giving TMI.
To help you navigate DMI, dating, marriage, and intimacy. All right, enough of the giggles. We
fun.
have a very, I was going to say important topic. I don't know that this would be necessarily our most important topic.
It's the most important topic that we have ever discussed on our channel.
Yeah, but no, I think there is going to be, I genuinely think there is going to be some good takeaways from this story. Real quick, guys, if you watched our last video, we shared we do not have an OnlyFans, and we have no plans on getting an OnlyFans where people can pay for that type of content and support what we're doing. We do, however, have a Patreon, which is a huge blessing. We could not be doing this on YouTube AdSense alone. We just couldn't. But because of our patrons, we're able to keep rolling. So we really, really appreciate you guys. And if you want to support us on Patreon and you like this content, patreon.com/Paulandmorganshow. The link is below. So Morgan.
Yes.
Let's get started where it all started.
Well, my lips are sealed. I got nothing to say here. This is all you.
Oh no, I want you jumping in. I want you to be a listener on that side of the camera, only you're present and you're able to jump in. You maybe challenge me. You maybe say, are you sure that was wise? I want that from you.
Yeah, got it.
Can you do that?
I'll challenge you to date better in your future.
Well, we'll see. And unless I'm sharing this and you're just blown away like, Paul, you were brilliant.
No, I already know. That's not the case.
Yeah, you can't know until you hear. All right, let's start with this. Let's give a bit of background, guys. Welcome,
Yes.
Welcome, by the way.
Please give us the background.
Before I really get into it, I did not date. Oh, and by the way, you guys, my right eye has been twitching. It's been twitching today, and I think it's a result of when I played pickleball at lunch break, around lunch break time. It was so sunny, and now it's got my right eye twitching. Morgan said it would look dumb if I wore sunglasses. I was going to wear sunglasses.
Obviously, it would look dumb.
So instead, I'm just going to close my eyes for the rest of the video. I'm kidding. All right, let's go. I did not date at all in high school. Mm-hmm. I actually, even though I would consider myself, I was fairly cool, athletic, but but listen.
He had a Zac Efron poster in his locker.
You're really going to drop that now. I was,
Gotta keep you humble.
But I genuinely had some awkwardness and anxiety at even the thought of dating someone.
Yeah.
Did you date in high school? You started dating pretty stinking early.
Yes, I dated in high school.
We'll get to that in another video.
Regrets.
But I didn't date at all in high school, and partly it was, I don't see myself getting married anytime soon. I'm not going to. My mama raised me right. Then sophomore year of college, I had one relationship that lasted for a little while. Obviously.
Did you?
Sophomore year of college. But then after that, nothing for the next couple years.
Okay.
All right. Now we're arriving at where it gets good.
Great.
I started having a desire. Okay, I want to start looking for a wife, but I genuinely was held back, Morgan, and I think there's going to be some people that can relate that are watching this, and you tell me if you can relate. I was held back by the thought of, I really don't want to go out with someone unless they're going to be my spouse, primarily because I just don't want to go through the awkwardness of it. It honestly almost made me sick to my stomach at the thought of dating somebody, asking them to go out with me. We go out once or twice or however many times, and then we break it off. I have to break it off, or they do, and they don't end up being my spouse. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, it is definitely awkward and a little uncomfortable. I did not have that issue, but I see what you're saying.
Okay. Let us know in the comments if you've been there, if you were there, if you are there.
I mean, yeah, heartbreak is the worst.
Honestly, that idea, that concept, that's a ton of pressure on someone that's like getting ready to start dating. The idea that I can't date unless they're going to be my spouse. And I've actually, that's kind of, and I'm not like getting on people that say this, but one note I had was, you hear I prayed to God that the first person I date, the only person I date, is going to be my spouse. And you hear success stories of people that say, I prayed to God and that was the case. I just want to encourage you guys, don't put pressure on yourself for that to be the case, because that creates a ton of pressure. It can actually really stunt and limit, in my opinion, the whole process of finding the right spouse for you.
I agree.
Very good. So we're in total agreement so far.
Except for when you said you were so cool and hip and like a catch in high school.
So are you saying that I was not that?
I'm saying what I'm saying.
What do you think I was in high school? Are you picturing me
dweeb?
just like with giant glasses and hair parted down the middle? Like never said one word to girls?
No, I'm picturing you thinking you were cooler than you really were.
If anyone...
You had a Zac Efron poster in your 1 year of public school.
It was a Christian school.
That's even worse.
If there's anyone that watches this video or is on the live right now that knew me in high school, comment and let me know where I was on the cool meter.
Yeah,
I think
please,
Morgan is
let me
being a little hard on me.
Oh, I would have liked you.
All right. Anyway, so I was lying in bed one night.
Okay.
And I don't feel like this has happened often. And maybe it had to do with some caffeine that I had drank, thank you. But I actually felt an impression from the Lord, from the Holy Spirit, what I believe, which was, and it was so specific is why I feel like it was the Lord. I felt like he said, Paul, start asking girls to go on dates with you. I don't feel like he just said, Paul, now's the time, go for it. I felt like he impressed on me, ask girls, use this wording, would you go on a date with me? Stop beating around the bush. Stop getting like, hey, maybe we could hang out sometime. Like, use that wording. And to me,
I like that.
You think so? Mm-hmm. To me, it almost just like shook me out of my stupor of like, okay, I can do that. And that kind of got me on this journey. Like, I think it was literally like the next day. There was a girl that I was kind of interested in. I texted her. I remember texting her and saying, hey, blank. You're never going to get it out of me. I said, hey, blank.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I think I said, would you want to go on a date with me? Or would you want to go on a coffee date with me? But I used the word date. I'm almost certain. Morgan, and from that point, I'm guessing I probably went out with, just in the next... I mean, I was going out with
50 girls. You said 20.
No.
There is no way it was 20. It was 50.
No, it was not 50, but it was quite a few. It felt like it was enough to the point where, and I'm going to share what I think could be some negatives to this approach, and then I'm going to wrap it up with, do I recommend it? But I started going out with girls regularly. And in going out with so many girls, I began to really understand what qualities were important to me and what qualities were not. And if I had just been like, the first girl that I go out with, I'm going to marry. Again, I think that can happen. But for me, this was actually really beneficial. Mm-hmm. Wow, like I went out with this girl and these were... she embodied these qualities and not these qualities. And okay, I'm going to, I need to choose my words. I'm going to pass. Now, I don't see a future with
the ones.
yeah, I don't see a future with her, but still a Christian girl I appreciate and so forth. I might go out with another girl and realize, ooh, her faith walk is not so super strong. And it is just that interesting concept of, oh, I would never go out with a girl unless I was friends with her first and I knew that her faith was here. It's kind of like, I went out with plenty that I thought were at least a Christian, and I realized their faith wasn't where I wanted it to be for wife material. And for me, it was part of the process, and there was something really, it worked out well in many respects, and I'm going to get to some negatives.
Okay.
It rarely took, for those watching that, I hope that there's some people that are going to watch it and be like, man, I think I should step it up and stop being so like, oh, maybe I should ask her out. Oh, but maybe not. And then, 10 years go by and you've asked out one person. I'm encouraging you to be a little more active here. Or if you're a girl, to even be a little bit more open and active without compromising. And I'm going to get to that. It rarely took more than 3, maybe 4 dates for me to be like, okay, this isn't gonna move towards marriage. And oftentimes it just took 1 date. Very often, like more often than not, I would say 1 date, and it was like, okay, I know enough.
Yeah.
And sometimes I had girls break up with me. It goes both ways, but
Ouch.
but
Which really is not breaking up.
no,
Like, you
what
weren't
would you call
in
that?
a relationship.
What would
but
you call it?
It's just like ending the dating phase of, I don't know what you would call that.
It's hard. It's hard to
Yeah, just kind of putting an end to the pursuit.
putting in. What would you guys call that? You go out with a person twice, and then you call it off.
And you're like, hey, Jenny, this isn't going anywhere.
Okay, so that brings me to the minor downsides, and I put in my notes minor downsides because I personally, and you can disagree with me if you want, Morgan. You guys can disagree with me in the comments. I don't think that these were significant downsides, but
Okay.
before I get to the more upsides, some minor downsides. One, it required a lot of having to break up, or whatever you want to call it,
Yes.
or be broken up with. And that is just not fun. It's just not. And it was something that kept me crippled and anxious and not wanting to ask any girls out. I had to get over that. My advice to you, what I embraced, was that it's just going to be awkward. Some people want so bad to avoid any awkwardness. It's just going to be awkward.
It's going to be awkward, but hopefully you'll never see that person again.
And no, not necessarily.
No, I'm just kidding. We run in on a regular basis. We run in to someone Paul went out on a date with, and it's fine.
You're friends with one now. Close friends. But no, embrace the awkwardness. Don't run from the awkwardness. Some people literally like flee awkwardness in regards to relationships. I say embrace it.
Yeah.
But having to break up a lot is tough. That could be a minor downside. Also, I did get a little bit of a reputation locally of being, but you can't even, in my opinion, you can't call me a player because I was not a player. I was not a player. But to maybe a culture, especially in the Christian culture, that you just don't see a lot of this, and secular culture, they look at it as a little weird. And so to some, I was looked at as a little weird, or even a little bit of a Christian player, when I don't believe I was.
One girl to the next and the next and the next.
I believe it would have been a player if I was looking to play, if I was looking to get physical, if I was looking to just have a relationship. That was not the case. As stated from the beginning, I think I stated this, maybe not. I was looking for a wife. When I went out on a first date, on that second date, does this person have the qualities I'm looking for to marry and live the rest of my life with?
It's funny because when Paul and I went on our first date, some of his friends showed up and ate lunch with us. And it was 3 guys, I believe, and 1 guy and his wife. And I remember thinking on that date, I was like, man, she's kind of like cold, being like standoffish towards me. Like, it was weird. And then a few dates in, or like after Paul and I had been dating for a few weeks, we were sitting there and she was like, I just have to tell you that I was like kind of beat a butt on the first date that you and Paul went on when we like met you, because I was so over meeting girls that Paul had been dating. I was so over it, and I didn't want to keep going on these dates or hanging out with Paul and these girls that he was talking to.
So that is a potential downside.
So funny.
Minor downside.
His guy friends didn't seem to care.
Right. But honestly, again, I push back on that by saying, okay, so it's a bit weird, or some people might start getting a little tired of it. I get that. But give your friends that maybe kind of go this route, or yourself, give yourself grace. If you're intentionally looking for a spouse, give yourself grace. I'd rather you be doing this than hiding away in your bedroom.
Yeah, and we've known guys to, in my mind, be player-ish when they're dating and trying to find a wife. And like, I do think that the way Paul handled it was very respectful towards the women. He didn't like lead them on to think that this was going somewhere when it wasn't, and he like ended it very quickly rather than letting something drag on for weeks, even if he knew, yeah, I'm not really into this girl. Like, I very much would rather go on a date with a guy like that than on a date with a guy who lets it drag out for weeks when he's thinking in his mind, I don't really see this going anywhere.
That's not helping.
I'll keep dating this girl for the heck of it.
That's not helping anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to be so nice and drag it on because I don't want to break up and make it awkward. That doesn't help people. And I will say, like, there is going to be whoever ends up breaking it off. Say I broke it off with a phone call or with a text or meeting up or whatever I did. I mean, several of them were text messages, just being real. Yeah, the girl may not love it. And I remember one girl messaged another girl that I was friends with, and she was like, Paul, look, she like screenshotted the text message I broke up with her on. And I'm doing my best, but like Morgan said, I'm just trying to be honest and upfront with them. I appreciated our time, but I don't see it moving further. Some girls or guys aren't going to like that. That's just what it is. The other minor downside would be it does cost some money. And I would just encourage people, don't feel like it has to be some big grand thing to go out on a first date. You have to go to a nice steakhouse. I did a lot of Panera.
You didn't do that with me.
Yours was a little bit special.
Yeah.
And that is, one of the just cool testaments to this was when you go out with so many, you're hopefully, if you are mature and you're operating in wisdom, narrowing the funnel. And it's not just like 20 years go by and you're still dating a ton of girls. Like, you're narrowing it down, getting closer and closer to this is who I want to make my wife.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just put down, if you're going to do this, you must be on a mission. I'm looking for a spouse, not to fool around and draw things out in the dating phase. Don't be getting physical on the second date. Doesn't work well like that.
And don't be looking for love. Like, I know that sounds weird, but what I'm saying is
whoa,
like this weird idea.
Don't be looking for love.
I just want love. I want a man to hold me and a cuddle buddy and someone to take me out and buy me nice things. Like, that's not love, first of all. It's infatuation. Don't be looking for infatuation. Be looking for something that is can be very solid and firm, a foundation that's built on Christ, a love that looks like God's love, not the world's love.
That's good. That looks like I'm going to choose this person.
Yeah.
Look for that.
Yeah, because it's easy when, you are going on a lot of dates to like fall into infatuation really fast with a person, and you haven't even really gotten to know that person, and now you're infatuated with them, and so you're going to date for 3 months and then realize, oh, you are not what I want in a husband. You are not what I need in a wife. Like,
yeah.
I'm out. And then it hurts that much more. So, Especially for people who have been dating a lot and are feeling
Yeah.
lonely and are ready to like settle down.
That's good, Morgan. But I will say you also don't have to reject the, oh man, like I really feel a connection with this person. You don't
Yeah.
have to get all fearful of, is this infatuation?
Yeah.
Like I really felt a connection with Morgan on our first date of like, man, I really like this girl. But don't build that up to it's just elevated over everything else and then you ignore issues. So my final thing is, would I recommend this? Would I recommend going out with a lot of different people? Very possibly. If
Very possibly.
very possibly, if you have a maturity about you. I was around 24-ish, maybe 25 at this time when I really started doing this, when the Lord, I believe, spoke to me in bed, maybe 24, 25. I wouldn't have wanted to do that at 17. I wouldn't have had the maturity, I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have surprised myself.
No.
If you have maturity and a conviction, and I put to end it when you can tell it's not right. Because if you're just don't have that conviction, and so you're going to draw it out, and then the physical stuff happens, or blah, 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 you just date for 8 months for no reason. No. If it's not right, you end it. Boom. Boom.
Boom.
Guys, comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. If you just are assessing my story and you see things that you're like, oh, that's awesome, or no, that seems problematic to me, comment it below. Let me know just if maybe you're in the dating phase. How do you what do you do with that story? Are you kind of like, oh, that's exactly what I'm doing? Does it challenge you to do more of it? How do you feel about it?
How do you feel?
Morgan, you were much more chipper
Ooh.
in today's video than Monday's video.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, no. Don't apologize. Don't apologize. You showed up.
Would you all rather me show up being in a total grump, terrible, tragic mood and go live, or just not show up at all and wait until I'm in a better mood?
I would rather you show up. You are like the son in the parable that when the dad says, come work with me in the field, and he says, no, Dad, I'm not going to. And then the other son says, yeah, Dad, I'll be there. The other son bails. That would be...
The happy son bails.
The happy
but then
son
the one
bails.
who's like, nah.
The one that says nah ends up showing up. Morgan's showing up. So give her a thumbs up if you like that. We love you guys. We'll see you in the live chat. Be blessed. Have hope.
And be free.
Uh-oh. She's tanking. She's tanking.
If you're in the live, we'll be right back.
Hey guys, as you may have noticed, we get very few brand deals. A big reason for that is because we make unashamedly Christian content.
We've had brand deals taken away from us because people who don't like us reach out to them and demand that they cancel us.
Due to the fact that we stand on what the Bible says and we don't conform to culture.
Which is why our patrons, the names you see here, are so important.
You guys really are the lifeblood of this ministry. We could not do it without you all.
If you guys believe in this content and you want to partner with us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/paulandmorganshow or click the link in the description.
Go
Go
team.
team.
That was the one.